Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Today I bring to you a video on a huge update. No, it's literally huge. Because Sword and Shield and Dual Blades just got buffed and more. Version 80. A massive update just happened for Monster Hunter now. The Sword and Shield was one of the worst melee weapons in the game, and it just got a huge buff. On the flip side, the Dual Blades is one of the best melee weapons in the game, and it also got a huge buff. Yes, as a Dual Blades main, I rejoice. And there are also some additional updates that come with version 80. Alright, let's jump right into it. First, we're going to cover the Sword and Shield buffed details. So this is everything from the update as shown on the announcement for the news on the Sword and Shield buffs. Damage increased for several attacks. Adjustments made so that attacks are easier to land on monsters. Invulnerability granted while falling in the air during a charge/combo. Sliding activation positions adjusted, and various other minor adjustments have been made. And here's my Sword and Shield buff analysis. Niantic has heard our feedback. Thank you Niantic Japan/Capcom and everyone on Niantic USA that works on the game. We really do appreciate you. Because seriously, I've been yelling for a buff to Sword and Shield forever. And people say I hate the Sword and Shield or I'm just a hater. Yeah, you know why? I've been yelling so much because Niantic watches my content and so that you guys can get that buff that you've ever been waiting for. So don't ever say I didn't do anything for y'all.
You sure you both are okay?
It'll be alright. Don't worry about us. Just don't be late for your first day of work.
I won't. I'll remember you to just say no to everything.
Okay.
Ah, that Ghost Stories dub is legendary. But yeah, say no to everything so that you can get the buffs for the weapons you need. The damage increase was much needed though. For Sword and Shield, a lot of the reason why it was really bad was just the amount of DPS you put out. So that damage increase is definitely something much needed, again, for the Sword and Shield. The accuracy of attacks was needed as well because a Sword and Shield shield bash combo can miss sometimes. No, seriously, it was very inaccurate and very wonky. So trying to get used to it, or I have over 800 Sword and Shield slays, so I have quite a bit of experience with it. Not as much as Masters, which I'm going to get to Masters one of these days, but still, it was really, really weird. And the accuracy being fixed is awesome. The invulnerability during the falling shield bash is amazing. One of the best parts about this is that invincibility during the falling shield bash. That was one of the biggest problems with it because you can get knocked out while you're in the air. Now that you're invincible, that's absolutely incredible, and you can time it to where you essentially won't take any damage for some of the monster's most powerful attacks, which is absolutely huge. Moving on, now that we covered the Sword and Shield, now we have the Dual Blades. This is the Dual Blades buff details, and this is everything the newsletter covered when talking about the Dual Blades buffs. Damage increase for attacks during Demon Mode. Adjustments made so that attacks are easier to land on monsters. Invulnerability while performing Demon Flurry Watch, which is the dodge attack, has been extended. The stamina gauge will be slightly replenished when performing a well-timed evade while not in Demon Mode. The stamina gauge will now be fully replenished after using a recovery item to recover after fainting, and various other minor adjustments have been made. And this leads us to my Dual Blades buffed analysis. The S tier weapon just became an SS or SA tier weapon. It was good, really good. It was already one of the best melee weapons, and now it arguably is now the best melee weapon with these buffs. As a Dual Blades main, I am loving this update. I am super close to gold, which makes me kind of sad because now I'm like, man, I should have just waited until they buffed it and then did the rest of gold. But anyways, I am still super excited for Dual Blades, and I know all of my Dual Blade subscribers and community, y'all are loving this. The accuracy of attacks was always a problem, especially getting to Demon Blade Dance. So getting to Demon Blade Dance was always a pain when you get to the end and you're like, oh wait, some of your attacks would always be off sometimes. So now with the increased accuracy, all of your hits will now be able to hopefully go through, and it's going to be amazing. In addition, the increased damage is always a plus, especially even if it's just in Demon Mode. Any bit of damage for one of the highest DPS weapons in the game is absolutely incredible. And definitely one of the best parts about this Dual Blades buff is the increased iframe window during the Demon Flurry Rush. That is huge. Now you can be more aggressive. So one of the biggest problems about Demon Flurry Rush, which is when you dodge, is that you're not invincible. You'll still take damage. There's a very small window of your invincibility. But if you time it wrong and it was really wonky before, hopefully this update improves it by a lot, now you can have a safe window to execute the attack for Demon Flurry Rush before the monster absolutely yeets you to oblivion. Because it's happened plenty of times to me. And now, hopefully, that is fixed. And the extra stamina increases are nice, and the instant fill when you revive is crazy. So, when you revive, your stamina gauge revives as well? Yes, please, and thank you. Next up, we have more updates. We have additional features adjusted or changed part 1. You can now check details during drift smelting. Tapping on the drift smelt tank will allow you to view the equipment and driftstone currently being drift smelted. So I'm guessing this update is made because of the upcoming drift smelt event going on, and that's pretty cool that you can now see more details. The POI is kind of weird. I mean, the HUD for the drift smelting, so hopefully this improves your drift smelting experience. A red badge will appear on the guild button when new backgrounds/poses are acquired. So these new backgrounds/poses will be marked with new. This is very much like layered equipment. Whenever you get layered equipment, you notice that there's a notification and it's like, hi, new. Same thing with background/poses, so I'm guessing they're going to include more backgrounds and poses in the future, which is nice if you want to customize your guild card, etc. But wait, there's more. Here are additional features adjusted or changed part 2. Changes made to offloading materials. When the number shows 0, tapping minus will no longer automatically send it to the current quantity of that material. So if it's on 0, you tap minus, it would show everything you have, and you could delete everything you have right there. On the other hand, when the number shows the max quantity of materials, tapping plus will no longer automatically set it to 0. So if you set it to max and you tap plus, it goes to 0. It's no longer going to happen for both of these. So again, when it's at 0, you tap minus, you will see all your materials. Not going to happen anymore. When you have your maximum quantity and you tap plus, it's not going to do that anymore. Why? Because these changes were made to prevent accidentally offloading materials. I'm pretty sure some people have done it on accident, where they're like, oh wait, let me tap minus, when they didn't mean to do that much, or they fat fingered it and they accidentally deleted something they really needed. Now the good thing about this is you can still manually tap on the quantity to set how many of that material you want to offload. So if you tap on it, you can input a number manually, and this is how I always do it anyways. I'm always inputting my number just to make sure that it's the exact quantity rather than using that plus minus sign. So the good thing is we could still do that. Otherwise I'd be in an uproar because that's the way I do it all the time. I always input what number I want to offload so that it's easier and I'm not fat fingering a number or anything like that, and I can double check. And last but not least, there is a reduced processing load of loading friends' avatars. So if you're on your friends list a lot and you try to upload your friends list, their avatars will pop up much faster, which is great. And last but not least, we have fixed issues and future plans. So there was an incorrect color for layered equipment for the Jacko head, so I'm assuming it was a different color. I honestly haven't seen many Jacko heads since they came out with the Navi head for the Monster Hunter the Monster Hunter Stories collab. Seriously, that's the most goated head. I haven't used it just because of the fact that if you're a range main, it kind of obscures your vision a little bit, but yeah. I don't know why people are still using the Jacko head, but it's still cool. The skill Bubbly Dance improper message display timing. So Bubbly Dance wasn't displaying on the right timing. I never noticed it, honestly, when I was using Resuscitate/Bubbly Dance. So I don't know. The Lance, however, the Bubbly Dance effect was not activating during certain evade actions. That's good as fixed for that, although I don't approve of Bubbly Dance to begin with, or just Bubble Blight because it's really wonky, even though I've done it for like 50 plus battles. But yeah, glad that's fixed for those of you that are using it with the Lance. And here's probably an important one. I'm iOS, but for Android users, for Android support, next version update, which is approximately next month, Android operating system version 7 and prior will no longer be supported. So Android users must update to version 8 to continue playing. So you Android users, make sure you update and you're on version 8 before next month. In closing, finally, the Sword and Shield has been buffed. The Dual Blades buff is exciting, but it was already an S tier weapon, so let's go. Again, don't say I never did anything for y'all Sword and Shield users. I've been literally crying and yelling, please buff the Sword and Shield. So it finally happened. You're welcome. The next version update is next month, so I'm assuming they're preparing for the August major update. That should come in about probably the middle of August, and as a Capcom creator, I'll be able to get details ahead of time, so that's exciting. So I can't wait to hear what the new update has to bring, and we still have a monster coming, that monster in August that they tease, so I already know what it is because I've done a lot of research. But yeah, it's exciting, and my prediction's probably going to be correct. But August is going to be huge, and it's going to be really nice. And the great thing about August is right after August, we have September, which is the 1-year anniversary of Monster Hunter now. So expect a huge event and a huge update, etc. to drop then, or just a lot of events that are just going to be absolutely amazing. With that being said, please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. I will always give back the feedback and try to be a middleman for the voice as much as possible. Remember, one voice, I always say it all the time, my voice is powerful as a single one, but our voice is much more powerful as a community. So make sure you voice your feedback, etc. so great things like this can happen. And of course, Niantic does watch my content, so we appreciate you, Niantic. Thank you so much for everything you do. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.